go. Deck 78.
Hey, my name is Mark A. Altman.
And my name is Darren Doctorman.
And my name is Ashley Miller, and I think an angel just got its wings.
And we know this ship like the back of our hand. It's Deck 78!
We know
the
all
new show from the Treksperts.
We know all the secret places on the ship, and this is one of them.
Well, and you know the secret place because this new podcast from the Inglorious Trexperts is only available to our special backer group, people who have backed the show with their monthly contributions. And so this is a little bonus. This is a little thank you from the Trexperts. And you may be saying, you guys are always so proud of the fact that you've been offering the show for free. Why all of a sudden are you now accepting advertising and asking for backer support? And the answer is quite simple. Over the years, we've accumulated quite many costs in terms of our research, but the assistants, pulling clips, obviously mixing, audio mixing.
We got some old
equipment.
debts to pay off with this stuff.
That's right, exactly. So, and after that bounty hunter we ran into on Ord Mandal, I really feel like it was time to see if we could scrounge up some cash.
Plus, we were also watching the Dark Knight together, and we really sort of took the philosophy of the Joker to heart. If you're good at something, never do it for free. So,
yeah. Well, look, none of us are really looking to make this some kind of like.
We're not going to get rich off of this. We just want to pay for the people to make the show.
Yeah, and we also, are looking to do more live events and, be out there. Darren and I are going to be heading out to GalaxyCon this December in Columbus, Ohio, and we look forward to meeting you there, or should I say, we look forward to entertaining you, because Darren will be doing the meeting. I'm not
doing the meeting.
As longtime listeners of this podcast know, I know plenty of people, and I really don't want to meet anyone else. So, so until somebody dies, anyway, we're excited about this new podcast. And to be quite honest, we are looking to you to provide a helping hand. This is something we've talked about for a long time, which is going beyond the rim of starlight, going beyond Star Trek, going beyond Antares, and exploring Star Trek adjacent topics on a more.
Despite the podcast name, this is not a Star Trek centered podcast.
No, it's a totally different. Wait, no.
Well, we want to feel free to talk about all the other stuff that we don't talk about on the other podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. And we may even talk about some things, because this podcast isn't necessarily about celebrating the love. So
just about
who knows what we may talk about in the future.
Well, in this episode, for me, it definitely isn't.
No. In fact, we are going to be talking about a subject near and dear to some of our hearts, which is, of course, Walt Disney's The Black Hole. But before we do that, on the day we record this, I'm very, very excited. Darren, the Star Trek The Motion Picture, I don't know what the official designation is, ultimate set, definitive set,
all the various sets that the studio has deigned to offer are available starting today.
It streets today, and it's a remarkable box set, 4K, the 4K edition. Comes with a bunch of tchotchkes, as we say in the business. And in addition to those tchotchkes, it also comes, most importantly, with some superlative discs. This means it has the new director's edition from you and the boys, Mike Matessino and Dave Fine. It has the original theatrical cut of the film with a couple of weird little things that Paramount threw in. And it also has the beloved special longer version. And we're not talking about John Holmes. We're talking about
the John Holmes special extended edition.
Oh my goodness.
We're talking about the ABC cut from 19. We're talking about. That's enough of that. We're
it's
talking
been pulled
about
into the wormhole with us.
Oh boy.
we're talking about the 1983 ABC television extended cut, which had basically every scrap they could find on the cutting room floor,
everything they could find,
and more
thrown in.
Things from movies that were completely different.
But I gotta say,
stuff from Incubus in here. It's
a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's my favorite version of the movie." I have to say, it was my favorite movie, the version of the movie in 1983, because it was just so cool that there was all this footage. But I mean, most of it is I wouldn't say crap, but it doesn't help the movie.
There's a reason why we cut things.
The greatest parts of the extended TV edition are included in the director's cut, because there are some great character moments and arcs that needed to be fulfilled, and they are now Arc 2 and 3.
We should do an episode on that.
We're totally going to. Yeah, okay. Saturday morning wonderfulness.
Oh, we should do a Saturday morning deck 78 where we talk about Thundar the Barbarian and Arc 2 and Jason of Star Command. We can get Eric Green. You ran into him at the convention.
Yeah, and Space Academy and all those great shows.
This is going to be fun.
That we watched and we remember being good.
Yeah,
that's right.
Did you watch those shows, Ashley? But you're a little younger than we are.
Oh, hell yeah, I did. Like, I loved Space Academy and Jason of Star Command, and I loved Thundar the Barbarian, Ariel, Ookla, Ride, and all of that. I was completely addicted. It was a world of magic and super science.
We've talked on this show about maybe wouldn't it be great? Obviously Ashley and I both have shows and showrunners. It's like, wouldn't it be great to remake, UFO or Space 1999? But you know what I'd really like to remake? Thundar the Barbarian.
Oh my God, dude, I would effing rock.
Let's do that.
Adult Thundar the Barbarian. Are you kidding me? Hold on a second while I text someone and say, how do we feel about Thundar the Barbarian?
Let's do it.
With blood and sex. Let's find out.
Yeah, because everyone who remembers that show, who grew up on that show, is older now. You don't do it for kids. You do it for HBO Max. And obviously it has to be different because
you do
they don't want to compete with
version of it.
House of the Dragon, but of course this is the future. Thunder Barbarian was the far future. It wasn't, the mythical past. And I have to say a special shout out to our good friend of the podcast, Ryan Condell. The first 3 episodes of House of the Dragon have been magnificent. Yes. Magnificent. So congratulations to Ryan.
I've enjoyed watching them.
We're really happy for him, and I'm so excited that he's now working on the 2nd season. And of course, if you can't get enough of Ryan Condell in the House of the Dragon, go back and listen to 430 Movie. He was our guest on Sword and Sorcery Week. And I was going to say the Sword and the Sorcerer Week.
The Sword and Sorcery Week. The whole week on just that movie.
Before we knew how incredibly appropriate that would be now.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Exactly. We had no idea. But he had just done Conan for Amazon, and he just died horrible death. And he was feeling a little morose, so we said, "Come do the podcast. We'll cheer you up."
It was killed on the Wheel of Pain.
Why does he cry?
I don't even want to talk about the black hole. I just want to keep talking about this. So what is the reaction, Darren? Because I know when I got that box after I almost destroyed it opening it, it was it's a little flimsy, but that's not anything you had anything to do with. It looks beautiful. I can't complain. There's really everything I always, my hope for this set was that it would be like Charlie de Lauzirika's Blade Runner set, that would have everything in it that could possibly be in there. And for the most part, it does. It has, all 3 versions of the film. It has, this great new bonus material, which, I love a lot of the B-roll and outtakes and trims that are in there. That's real. And the fact you did it during COVID is really impressive. That nice little documentary.
Luckily, this is exactly the kind of thing that you can do COVID. Because everything doesn't need to be centralized, and you can have people working on various things at the same time. And
the legacy features are all on there, which is terrific. But it was really nice to see some deleted scenes. I saw that scene where Decker and Ilea walking through engineering.
Yeah, no one has seen it. No one has seen it for 40 years, except us.
Yeah,
So,
and soon to be on Mystery Science Theater. But
no
it was great, and it's also nice to see the famous scene of the poor security guard Perez getting zapped, and of course the mention of him at the very end through the magic of editing. You see what happened when he took him. She made the change and how
I don't think that was Perez, because Perez was alive down in the.
Was it Perez? Who was it? Some other guy.
Perez was in the hallway when Ilea showed up in the shower.
Oh yeah, of course he was there.
What was
he
doing in the hallway?
Yeah, that's what he.
Standing there,
was watching.
Yeah, Captain, something's happening in the in Lieutenant Ilea's room. I'm monitoring the situation. I think I've got it in hand.
I thought it would be a good idea to have her appear in a sonic shower, because it would not only show us a little bit of female shape, but it would also show a future of showering technology.
well, we know he loves that scene because of the description at great length in the novelization.
Indeed,
he lavishes on that scene. I mean, and I believe if anyone who doesn't recall, you may want to go back to that wonderful episode we did, I think, on the Inglorious Treksperts on the novelization, where Darren and Gene share that with us, and it's a marvel. It's a true marvel. So what's the reaction been so far to this magnificent Blu-ray set?
Well, I mean, the reaction is spotty, because remember, people are just the lucky ones are getting theirs in the mail now.
You'll get yours.
So they haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I think the overall reaction from people who have seen it is exactly what we wanted. We wanted people to take a new look at this movie and reconsider their ranking of it, because I think it has so much more to offer than certainly most of the other Star Trek movies, and it had the benefit of being first. And there are so many firsts in this movie. There's so many wonderful things that I have in my memory of it, and it's just so good that people can have a great new way to view this and appreciate it the way we did.
Yeah, that's right, man. I couldn't wait to get everyone out of the house so I could just put it on and blast it, put it at the Atmos, and just have the whole thing blasting. And it was great because you guys are going to the movies. Okay, maybe you want to leave now. What? No, come on. Bye. See you later. And and it was like boom. I put it on and just like, this is fantastic. And then dove into the special features, which are all so wonderful. So that was great.
Now, here's the test, right? I spoke about this a bit on Inglorious. I took Caden to see the director.
Your son, let's just say, so
yes,
people
my son.
know.
Yes. I took him to see it in the theater, and he loved it. Like, he's 13 years old. He has no nostalgia for the original series and growing up with it or any of that. There's no emotional baggage attached to that film, any version of it whatsoever, and he loved it. Yeah. And admittedly he's 13 going on 80, but it's telling to me that it speaks across generations. It's just like the way that it came together in this version of the film, I think is just magnificent. It's awesome.
Talk about 13 going on 80. You should have heard my son complaining about the air conditioning in school today. It's so hot. Oh my gosh. It's like
just like his father. So
yeah. Well, that's true. That was my big problem in Vegas too. At the hotel room, the air conditioning didn't go low enough. It was always hot in my room.
Yeah. Well, that's just the nature of the business.
That's what the big old tub is for.
You darn right it is.
What?
Well, that's what it's for, among other things.
Yeah, cleaning yourself.
Yes. Okay. You like to be clean, don't you?
Thorough.
Yeah, and thorough. Yeah. So we had a nice time in Vegas. We talked a little bit about on the pod, but that was a fun trip we all had. We talked about obviously this the great time we had spending a lovely dinner with Ande Richardson, the great Ande Richardson, Gene Coon's assistant, seeing our listener Ken Milne, who brought us this wonderful Canadian whiskey, which we made quick work of, and maple whiskey, I should add, and and just a great a couple of great dinners, a couple of great panels. Oh my God! So, well, I guess I shouldn't even mention this because people won't know because they weren't there. But Scott finally admitted like it wasn't so bad that he lost the quiz show. He was really like for days. Scott was really
this
upset
is Scott,
that he lost the
Scott
quiz
Mance.
show.
Scott Mance, in case you didn't.
Yeah, and
Yes.
but we'll when people hear the episode on Treksperts proper, they can decide for themselves.
Is that what we're calling it now? Treksperts proper? That'd be
that's
cool.
what we're going to call it.
And this is Treksperts improper.
Yes.
Yeah. On Inglorious Treksperts because this is Deck 78. Deck
That's
78.
right.
Now tell us, Jim, for what some people may not know why the show is called Deck 78. Would you like to explain why?
Well, Darren made me drink maple whiskey until I
made you. Yeah.
He forced it down my throat until the ideas flowed like
that scene. You know that scene in North by Northwest with Martin Landau. It was kind of like that.
That's so funny. And the Glen Cove Police Station.
That's right.
Yeah. So Deck 78, obviously. Well, not obviously. It's not obvious.
We wouldn't be explaining it if it was obvious.
It's like a 1-second shot that makes no sense from Star Trek V. When Kirk and Spock and McCoy are escaping from their friends and Cybok up the turbo shaft, and they pass a number of decks that make no sense, out of order. And
a couple of decks they pass twice.
Yes, they do. It's like who's driving that thing? And one of the decks they pass, the highest number, which is bananas, insane, and absolutely what were people thinking, was Deck 78.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they fired the rocket so much that they slingshot it around the sun and went
to a totally different enterprise.
Here's the thing. Here's the Michael Okuda explanation, which I'm just making up. I'm just making it up, so Mike, it didn't come from Mike. Obviously, the turbolift shafts work in a strange principle of bending reality. Because how else are they going to be there every time you need one, right?
It's the TARDIS.
It's like the TARDIS, but it has sort of a subspace warp that happens with the cars, and sometimes it goes to Deck 78.
Sorry, that's the retardist.
And if you get off, oh my God,
you are canceled, Mr. Altman. You are canceled.
If you get off on Deck 78, you will find us. That's where we were. Kirk and Spock and McCoy had no idea. Look at me blowing past that politically incorrect joke. Like Kirk and Spock and McCoy had no idea that they were going past our podcast.
Right.
And we were there. We were podcasting the whole time. We were wondering at the time. We were doing a whole episode on what God needs with a starship, which is the weird part. In fact, that's probably going to be an episode. What would God use a starship for?
Yeah, that's what Deck 78 is for all the ridiculous stuff that nobody cares about on Treksperts. All the episodes that they would have 6 downloads for instead of.
But the great thing about it is that if you step into a turbo lift and you say Deck 78, it won't know what you're talking about because you know can't get there from here unless you're a subscriber.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? I think it's a junction. I don't think it's really a deck. I think it's like, horizontally it goes across and it goes vertical. So it's like 78 is the junction.
Sure.
But Junction 78 is a terrible name for a podcast.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Deck 78.
Petticoat Junction 78.
I see it this way. Because Deck 78 is impossible and madness and silly, anything can happen on it. Anything can happen on it. Just like
every day is anything can happen day. Yes.
On Deck 78.
It's like Angel Heart. It's like Wednesday. Anything can happen day.
That's right. In fact, we're going to do an episode where we're all buried alive, which is going to be fantastic.
By the way, there's a limited edition, or I don't know if it's a limited edition, but there's a Angel Heart 4K steel case it's exclusive to Best Buy. You know, when I told you I was watching Star Trek: The Motion Picture on 4K, I actually got an Angel Heart first, and it was amazing. It's gorgeous. You guys, all you 6 Angel Heart fans out there, You got to get Angel Heart on 4K at Best Buy. I don't care about steel cases because they're in a closet. I don't look at them, but it was the only way to get it. And oh my God, that disc is gorgeous. And that is a great looking movie. Michael Sarrazin was the DP. Alan Parker shot it, and was the director. And I always love that movie. And oh man, it looks great. And because I don't rebuy everything on 4K. There's certain things I don't need to have on 4K.
There are some things that just haven't been released yet.
That's true.
That too. No, I didn't buy In the Heat of the Night on 4K, and they're movies I don't need to buy again on 4K.
Right,
The Godfather you buy, Raiders you buy, Jaws you buy. Yeah. Speaking of Jaws,
yes,
how great was that? You saw the real 3D version.
I saw the real 3D version last night.
IMAX.
And Ashley saw it today, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I want to see it desperately. I didn't even realize it was happening until I saw you guys reviewing it. And now I'm obsessed with I'm going to take Caden. Here's my Jaws news. And I think this is why
you better hurry because they stop on Thursday.
Do they really? God damn it.
You better go.
I'm going to go see a matinee.
Take him out of school. Don't make him. This is more important to him going to school. Yeah. He needs to see Jaws if he hasn't.
Especially because it's research. So this is the best thing that I've ever heard about my child. Look, I love my boy, and I love him even more now. He's taking theater this semester, and his one of his assignments is he needs to perform a monologue. Now there are kids who are taking monologues from plays and all this other stuff.
Are you going to give him the Indianapolis?
How'd you know?
Exactly. But it was his choice. His mother told me. He's like, oh, by the way, Caden is going to do the USS Indianapolis speech. I'm
Holy
like,
cow.
I can't.
That's awesome.
Wait.
Darren, can you do that for us now?
Go on. I don't know all of it. I don't know all
snippet.
of it, or I would do it. That, Mr. Hooper, is the USS Indianapolis. We just gotten back from delivering the bomb to the island of Tinian Dalady. That's all I know. I don't know all of it.
Come on.
I just watched it last night. If I had it written down, I would do it for you, but I can't.
It's got a doll's eyes.
It's like I can't do it.
Okay. I'm not going to put you on the spot.
You know what? I'm going to record Caden doing it. Please
I would love to see that. That would be awesome. Yeah. It's like Rushmore. You're right.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
Oh my goodness.
I would love to see. I would love to see that. I'm so excited that he's doing it. And I have to say, a lot of these, I was wondering what it would look like in IMAX because obviously, it requires a lot of work to, be able to show that in IMAX format.
Not as much work as converting it to 3D.
To 3D, I know. But
holy cow.
My God, did it look great.
It's so good.
It's
amazing.
It's just amazing. Once again, not that we need a reminder how great Spielberg is.
Oh my God.
It's like, come on.
It's so good. All the performances are spot on, even by the people who are not actors, which is amazing. Yeah. And oh my God, Dreyfuss is great.
He's so great. I had this real epiphany this weekend. I mean, I believe in America, and I believe in seeing movies in a theater. But this weekend, it's so funny because as you know, when I was watching Star Trek: The Motion Picture and Angel Up, my family was off seeing Spider-Man: No Way Home again with the extended cut that was in theaters.
That's been released.
Yeah, it came out Friday. So my family went. And the only reason I didn't go was so I could stay home and watch Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Nice. So then on Sunday.
It's interesting. Both of those films I worked on.
Very interesting. So on Sunday we went to the re-release of Rogue One, and I have to tell you, I love Rogue One.
Yep.
And I've watched it a bunch of times at home since originally seeing it in the theater. Seeing it again in a theater, it made me like it even more. It's like it was a much better film than watching it on Blu-ray in the theater. And oh my God, the preview of Andor. Phenomenal. Oh my God. I think this is finally the one. I'm hopeful.
We'll see. I'm open-minded.
I'm not the Rogue One fan that you guys are, but I will say that I think that Andor looks beautiful because they got off the stupid. I mean, I understand why they do it.
The volume?
But they got off a volume.
Yep. They're shooting on practical locations. They built the whole city.
It doesn't look like a Univision soap opera. It looks like a thing, like a movie.
Did they build the city on rock and roll?
But that was exactly the point we were making today, was that if Jaws was shot today, they would shoot it on that fucking volume on a soundstage, so they could control the sun, and they didn't have to be out on water, and it would look like a bad.
And you could
Mexican
have the shark all over the place. Yep.
You would be mad to shoot it the way that Spielberg shot it.
Yep,
absolutely mad, and it would never happen.
But that's why
we'll never see that again.
But that's why that movie is great, because you can see the frustration and the anger, and I mean, because for people who don't know the story, I mean, this was a movie because they were shooting on water, and because of the problems with the shark, and because of people getting seasick. It took forever, and they would barely get a shot off. And if they they'd be ready to shoot a shot, and then all of a sudden boats would be going by. And they couldn't shoot that way. They'd have to turn the whole.
I can still hear Richard Dreyfuss telling the story, and we'd hear over the radios, the shark is not working, the shark is not working, and then we just sat down and sighed.
It's like the shark was in its trailer, refusing to come out.
I remember the one time that I don't know if it was the one time, but the first time I met Steven Spielberg was at my alma mater. I was a junior in college, and he was there to accept an honorary degree. Mm-hmm. And my alma mater was in Boston, not far from, obviously, Martha's Vineyard. So I went up to him and I said, I'm shocked to see you this close to Martha's Vineyard, even after all these years. I thought you'd never, your PTSD. And I don't know if he thought it was that funny, but boy, Amy Irving thought that was clever. So, and Lou Wasserman. And Lou Wasserman was with him and his wife. And that, to me, I mean, that is one of...
That's pretty good.
I mean, I have a lot of great highlights in my life, like my kids being born, all this stuff. I mean, there's like a lot of my first, but
blah blah blah. But you met Spielberg and said a joke about
Nate Spielberg and Lou Wasserman. That was, and I've talked about this. I mean, Bart Giamatti was there that day. Benny Goodman, Lou Wasserman. I think it was Millie Wasserman, his wife, Spielberg, and Amy Irving. That was just as extraordinary. It was extraordinary. I mean, it was incredible. I just, to this day, and it's like yesterday. But yeah, guys, I don't think we're going to talk about the black hole today, which is fine.
Look,
we can. It's just that this is like any other episode of any other show we do.
No,
where, eventually, at some point, we remember we're supposed to talk about like the thing we were going to talk about.
That's the thing. There's no supposed to be's on Deck 78.
No, Deck 78 is just a freewheeling conversation. And if we have a topic and we don't get to it, we don't get to it. I think we'll do another. We'll try and do black hole another time. I think that
is this going to be the running joke where every episode we try to talk about the black hole?
It's like the Naked Gun, where the title of the show is not the title of the show.
Look, I had really wanted to get Robert Forster on the show to talk about it, and then and he was going to do it, and then he died, and so
we're still trying though.
We're still trying to get him.
I just don't know. I don't know, and then I thought, who's left? I mean, is Gary Nelson still alive?
I don't know.
I mean, and Yvette Mimieux died recently, so we can't get her.
Yeah. We might be able to get
Ernest Borgnine is out.
We might be able to get Harrison Ellenshaw.
Oh yeah, Harrison Ellenshaw would be great. We talk about a lot of things, and also it was great to see him on that recent ILM documentary. And Anthony Perkins is dead, of course, because Maximilian killed him.
That's right.
So those little blades.
But how about since you brought it up? How about that ILM documentary?
Oh, amazing!
It's so freaking good. It makes me ache for being 10 years older.
Yeah,
it makes me ache to have been able to have been there.
I can see that.
But still, it is so lovely to see this pure burst of creative energy and spirit, and a bunch of goofballs who didn't really know what they were doing until they did it.
I thought I knew it all about that era. Between growing up watching Making of Star Wars and reading all the books and writing some of the books myself and all the documentaries, and then to see this, where it's like, it was like Get Back. It was as transcendent to me as watching the creative process in Get Back.
Yeah.
Like to me, like I devoured Get Back because it was just amazing to see the Beatles at work and, be a fly on the wall. And it was like that with ILM. It was incredible to see the genius. And these guys are like, Da Vinci or Brahms or, Flint. They were freaking, it's incredible what they did. And that's what makes me sad in a way that it's all come down now to, computer animation, because of course that has its own skill set, but the building of miniatures and the fact it was interesting. I think it was Phil Tippett. I don't remember who said we took it as far. We needed to move into computer animation because we took this physical form of special effects as far as it could possibly be taken. There was we couldn't push it we couldn't do any more. We couldn't push it further. So it had to go into the digital space.
People can still travel west. You can still migrate from east to west across this great country of ours. But you know what you can't do? You can't be a pioneer anymore. Right? You can't eke your living out of the land anymore. That's not how it works. Right?
There is no land.
We've just kind of reached a place where people can just kind of do it. And I think there are benefits to that. And I think there are also debits to that. I think that it's become so ubiquitous that it has, it's kind of like we were talking about with using the volume wall for JAWS, right? You can solve all of your problems. You can solve them. But what you're not doing is creating a situation where creativity has to save the day for you. Or
no, you're creating the Boba Fett show.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Which I still resonate to as a pretty good description of my life, where I take naps and the most important woman in my life make sure all the problems get handled.
So it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for being a dad.
Exactly. But Darren, I understand why you say that you lament not being 10 years older. So you could have been a part of that. But I would also submit to you, sir, that when
I submit to you that your logic is flawed and imperfect.
Look,
because the magic of it inspired you and
absolutely
made you who you are.
Don't get me wrong. I came into the business right at the change, right on the abyss. That's where everything started flipping to digital. Mm-hmm. That was the moment, and I was there for that, and I'm proud of being there for that.
You should be. And I thought of you when they talked about the abyss and were showing, that how it. I was thought of you. I thought, my God, it's full of stars, including Darren Docterman. There he was, getting picked up by Ed Harris on the side of the road. So right. It's I'm not picked up like that. He was
no. He was friendly. It was all friendly. Good.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Yes, very friendly.
Yeah, it's yeah. So I think this is what the show's gonna be about. But we are gonna do dives into Star Trek adjacent stuff, like the black hole, we talked. We're gonna be doing aliens, and we're gonna bring some guests on the show as well. I want to do Logan's Run. I want to do Sci-Fi 78. Which is Battlestar Galactica,
and nothing else.
And I don't know. Is that true? Yeah, I guess that's true.
I would love to talk about Space 1999.
Well,
UFO,
we will.
We've done that.
And remember, Superman came out in '78. So
Superman,
I've heard of it.
Superman, yeah, that's Superman too. But okay,
that's Superman as well.
Oh, maybe we should have Sarah Douglas on the show, because she came to Lola's once.
She certainly, yeah, absolutely. She was there.
This is all it is. This is all we're doing. We're doing Lola's without the drinks, or at least I don't have a drink.
Well, maybe later we'll add.
78.
Maybe later we'll add drinks. But
I've already added a drink.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, because I'm also doing, I guess, an episode of Cartoon Bar Room all at the same time. It's I'm having a little.
You're doing Cartoon Bar Stool.
Damn right I am.
Oh my!
Yeah, but look, I think that this is really, as they say in the trade, value added proposition. So when you become a backer of Inglorious Trexperts, when you buy the razor,
you get to hang out with us a little more than most people do.
You get the you get the razor. You got to buy the blades. This is the blades. You need the blades. So
what about the Razor Crest
blades?
So and. I think there's so much that we can talk about that we haven't talked about on the Trexperts that we want to talk about on the Trexperts, and we're going to get to do that here on Deck 78, wherever that is, whatever part of the Enterprise that's on.
Well, it may not be on the Enterprise. See, that's the thing.
It may not
be on the Enterprise.
Maybe not.
Maybe
it's on the Cygnus. Maybe it's on the Cygnus. See, I worked the black hole in there.
The Cygnus that has maybe 10 decks. Maybe.
Right.
By the way, did you listen to...
Unless the Cygnus is like laid out on its side wrong, we've been looking at it the wrong way the whole time. And
why would they number it like that? That's just silly.
You know what we could do on the show?
Space?
We could talk about our favorite spaceships. Not like a SmackDown, but like talk about the greatest spaceships.
Okay, then. Let's talk about the Cygnus, which is a beautiful ship.
Yeah,
it is.
It's crazy.
It's the Nautilus in space.
It's the Eiffel Tower meets the Nautilus meets a packing crate.
But, that's what's crazy about it, to make a spaceship look like that. Oh, are you getting a call? Should we wait? No?
Nope.
Okay. No, they can wait. It was probably just another person calling to congratulate you on how fantastic that Star Trek The Motion
No
Picture.
doubt. Telling me that they just gotten the discs, but even though it wasn't their favorite Star Trek movie.
Is that what people are saying?
One person said that to me and just pissed me off to no end. But
I'm really surprised. I got to tell you, Nick Meyer has been out like on the interwebs, like responding to like everyone, and I don't get it because Nick doesn't have anything to prove. Why is he like? I mean, it's like it was a little Fathom re-release. It's like you don't need to be.
I think he's feeling a little bit out of step with culture now.
That may be.
I think he's trying everything to reestablish his position and his legacy, and it's fine with me.
Boy, I'd love to see him direct something again.
And, absolutely.
In this universe, and
I'd like to see anyone over 50 direct something.
Scorsese.
No kidding.
He's working.
He's pretty good.
I think he could kill it on a Marvel movie. Come on, guys.
Well, okay, here's Martin Scorsese's Kingpin.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd
be good. How funny would that be if Scorsese did a Marvel movie?
D'Onofrio?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Todd, what was his name? Not Todd Bridges. Todd Phillips already made his Scorsese superhero movie.
Yeah, but that's not. It's not Marvel.
I know it's DC.
Make mine Marvel.
Make mine Marvel. Yeah, exactly. Who else? I mean, there were all kinds of rumors like, oh, Spielberg, would do it. Spielberg's not doing it.
Spielberg's not going to do that. He doesn't even do Spielberg movies anymore, which is fine. But
look, he doesn't have anything to prove. I mean, that man has made more masterpieces, more classic films.
If he had only made Jaws, he would be.
Yeah.
I understand that Tobe Hooper actually directed Jaws.
but look at that run. Look at that run. You got Sugarland Express, which is a good movie.
Yeah.
You got Jaws, which is a masterpiece. Then you have after that you have Close Encounters, which is a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have 1941, which is not nearly as bad as its reputation.
Yeah.
And then
you have Raiders of the Lost Ark,
which is also another classic.
And then
you have E.T. and then Poltergeist, which he deserves a lion's share of the credit for.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on. And so it's just really remarkable. And I think Munich is spectacular. Obviously, Schindler's is amazing. So many great. We like Temple
Interesting
Doom a lot.
that we don't. Interestingly, we don't think of Jurassic Park.
I don't.
Mm-mm.
I don't think it's that great a movie.
It is.
I agree.
It's
technologically, it is.
Technologically, it's a landmark, but it's just not that good of a movie.
I'll watch Westworld.
This is one episode that we need to do about the Jurassic Park movies because it's
totally agree. It's funny. I once asked. I ask him all the time, actually. But Caden, how he would rank the Jurassic Park films, and he loves Jurassic Park, but he said that his favorite is in many ways Jurassic Park 3, and the reason why is because he thinks the story is the best.
It's certainly
I thought
better.
was fascinating. Yeah, it's certainly better. It's it's fascinating to me, like what that kid will respond to. But I tend to agree. It's like if they had obviously that was Joe Johnston. It wasn't Spielberg. Mm-hmm. It was certainly better than The Lost World. which was no bueno. The Lost World was strangely vindicated as like, wow, it's like compared to Dominion, it is, a work of staggering genius. Like, you guys see Dominion?
Pete Potwhistle is in it.
Yeah,
our friend Pete Potwhistle.
You got dinosaurs in San Diego. Can you imagine if Comic-Con was then
invaded by T-Rexes?
Now? Yeah,
but the great part is it's not in San Diego. It's in Burbank.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All those locations are in Burbank, and
it's so tacked on.
Kind of
it feels
a last
so tacked on.
It absolutely was tacked on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny.
Funny.
Nonsense.
My son keeps watching these movies, and like, and he really loved Jurassic Park, and he's like, "Are the sequels any good?" I'm like, "No." He said, "I don't want to see them." It's like Beverly Hills Cop. He loved it. He says, "Are there any sequels?" I said, "Yeah, but they're not very good." He says, "Okay." He doesn't want to watch it, And it's like we watch Westworld. Are there any of those sequels? I said, "Yeah, Future World's pretty bad, but
it's
he goes, I want to watch it." And he said, "I want to watch it."
You let him watch Future World?
No, we haven't watched it yet, but we're going to. But
I mean,
like The Matrix
too.
World. The Matrix is like one of his favorite movies of all time. And he's like, "Should I watch the sequels?" I'm like, "No."
Look, I think
the memory you have,
Mark. I think you're denying him the ability to discern by not letting him watch these other movies.
I'm giving him the choice. Like, he watched all 3 Godfather movies.
No, you're saying, "No, they're not good." You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You should let him watch them and see what he thinks.
He knows.
Because
I'm a little bit with Darren on this one, honestly.
He knows sequels aren't good.
That's not always true.
Don't watch Godfather Part 2.
No, that was different. He loved those.
So don't watch The Empire Strikes Back.
And I think I told this story on 430 movie, but I had Caden and I were doing this whole thing. We first watched Jaws, and then we went to see that week. He saw Raiders in the theater again, and he wanted to watch Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So I finally broke down. We watched it at home, like in the home theater. And we watched Last Crusade, and his opinions very much tracked with ours on these things. And I was telling him about Crystal Skull, and I did the thing where I was like, no, it's I think terrible, and like you don't need to do that to yourself. And he said the most interesting thing. He said, "Dad, I need to watch Crystal Skull." He said, because the Indiana Jones formula is so simple and so effective. I need to understand how you screw it up.
Yeah. No,
well, my son had the opposite reaction. I told him he should watch it just so he can see all the Indiana Jones movies, and he says, "No, I don't need to see it. I don't need to ever see it." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Caden has to see everything. Like, we've been working our way through like the Predator movies just to get to Prey, which, by the way, is great.
He wanted. I want to see that. I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it.
It's great.
I hear it's great.
Crazy.
Everyone says it's great. I can't wait to watch it, but I just haven't been able to do it. I'm too busy watching Rogue One again, Jaws, and Star Trek: The Motion Picture. But I do intend to watch Prey. I hear like nothing but great things about it, so I'm excited. And you know what else I'm excited about? Deck 78. This new
the sequel
podcast
to Inglorious Trexperts.
Now, people are probably wondering, like, how often is this going to be? This is not a weekly podcast. You know what this is? You know what the schedule is? Whenever the hell we want it to be.
Yeah.
So, some months there may be 3 or 4. Some months there'd be 1.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be none. I don't know. It's literally like, we need to do this because we want to give our backers, our loyal backers, a thank you. This is our thank you. Some thank you, right? We want to give you a thank you. But I don't know.
We want to give you a present that you pay for.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
Our present to you is a formless, directionless discussion as we sit and drink scotch
while you
and
sit and watch for weakness.
It's something Spock told me on my birthday. So so we don't really know, and also we want to hear what you think. If there's show topics
up to a point.
Up to a point. Yeah, exactly. That's my line.
I mean,
but
we're not a democracy.
You can
no
feign caring about your opinions.
I'm fine if people want to say, hey, I enjoyed that Deck 78. I think it'd be cool if you guys talked about X. When you say you should do this. Or what?
Or you have to do this.
Yeah.
No,
but if
we don't have to do nothing.
I want to do Logan's Run at some point.
Yeah.
I think we should get some people under 30 for that one, and then really have it out.
No, hell with that.
Okay.
No.
If there's people under 30, we're going to put them into the transformative action of Carousel. See what happens.
Carousel.
My son asked, "Is there a sequel to Logan's Run?" I said, "Only in the books."
That's right.
Only in the books. So,
and they're not very good.
So here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. So we have to now figure out like our outro for the show.
Right.
We got a new outro. Like
I have an outro.
Oh, you do? Okay, so
I do.
So Darren's going to give us an outro for Deck 78, but I want to remind you, you must revisit this place again, and to do so, you need to be a backer of Inglorious Treksperts. All the information is available wherever you listen to podcasts in the show notes. So check that out. And now Darren is going to take us out. Please, Mr. Slavic.
All right, everybody. Time to leave. You got to go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Ferris Bueller. Okay, well, I don't know what that has to do with Deck 78, other than the fact that John Hughes wrote.
No, it's not John Hughes. No, it's what they say at a bar.
Oh, I thought it was the end of Ferris Bueller.
No, what?
Ferris Bueller says, "Wait, you're still here?
Here?
Go home.
Go home.
It's over." That's the end.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good outro too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And people, of course, can follow us on Inglorious Trek on Twitter, Inglorious Treksperts on Instagram, and on Facebook at Inglorious Treksperts. And I want to thank us, the producers of the show, and Peter Holmstrom for all his help. And I guess he won't need to pull those black hole clips this week.
He still can, just for flavor.
That's right. And we should still say that this episode, like, the topic is the black hole. Absolutely.
Yeah. But it isn't the movie The Black Hole. It's the black hole of discussion.
Of knowledge. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
the conversation.
Okay, but I do now have the perfect way to end the show. So,
all right.
On behalf of Ashley Miller, Daren Docterman, and myself, Mark Altman, until next week, fire the rockets!
Deck 78 is an exclusive podcast from Treksperts Plus.